welcome to this exciting episode of Bob the Sign Man. On the last exciting episode, I showed you on with Flexi, when you first start making signs, how to use that book with the pre-made ones. Well, just suppose we don't want to spend the money to do that. Well, I've been in that case and I've gotten by, and I'll show you a little bit how I do that. I'm probably going to start making some other Flexi videos to kind of as a starter. But anybody who's familiar with Flexi, you can probably join in on this. So I'm just pulling up a sign here. I have a couple of them that are ready for time-wise. So I go to this website. It is right here. I'll put a description down below. It's a MUTCD, Federal Highway DOT. So these are all that you can use. There's no copyrights on them or anything like that. So let's say we want to make, let's do this W10, the large animal, the elk, W11-20. So what I did is I clicked it. You can see as it downloaded right here, down below is a zip file. We're going to open that file up. Okay. So here's the large animal, the 36 by 36 we're going to make. So here's what we've got. Okay. You can't just drag that into Flexi. It's not going to work. So I have this little program. It's called Primo PDF. I'll put a description down below. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a PDF file that Flexi can pick up and read. So this only works good when you have an actual nice looking PDF like this. So I'm going to click my print icon right here. And then I'm going to up to my printer options. I'm going to come down and I'm going to choose my Primo PDF. Okay. And then I'm going to click print. Then it's going to bring this up for me. I'm going to create the PDF. Here it is, a large animal desktop. And I want to save it to my desktop. I already have one on there, so I'm going to overwrite it. So there we go. It's on the desktop. Okay, so let's go find that. Here it is right here. Okay, so if I open this up, this is what we're going to be using. See, it has 2 pages. Okay, so I'm going to close all those tabs. So I'm going to drag my Flexi over here. Seems like every time I drag it gets those spaces. But anyways, so here's the other tools that I have that pop up, and we're going to really need these in a minute. So what I want to do now is that PDF file that's on my desktop. Let's go File, let's go Import. Okay, so let's go up to my desktop, and let's try to find that. Here it is, the large animal 36 by 36. So it says import page 1, page 2. Let's just import all pages. It'll make it easier. Then we click OK. Boom, there's my pages right there. So there's no way you can send that off to the printer. So we're going to select what we need. And in order to do that, we're going to go up to our group and ungroup tool up here. We're going to click ungroup. And we're just going to come in. We're going to save that. Let's just drag that to the side for now. All this, let's just get rid of that. Okay. So right now, here's our animal that we're going to make. So it's got this red border around here. You can't send that off to the printer right now. It just is not going to work like this. If you try to, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get all these yellow lines in there. Plus, the image is small right now. It's only about, as you can see right here, it's only 8 inches diagonal. So let's do this. Let's turn this to a direction that we can work on. I'm going to come up here to my direction tool right up here. I'm going to rotate it, and let's rotate that to right there, because that's how we can send this off to the printer. So this red box around here, we want that to go away. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click that box, and it keeps coming back. So what we want to do is we're going to go like this. We're going to click unmask. Okay, once you click unmask, you think, oh no, don't worry. You just click the outside again and just delete that. So there's your image back. So now that image is only 6 inches by 6 inches. We want 36. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up to the size right here, and we're going to create a 36 inch. So just type 36 hit your enter button, and that one should change to 36 also. If not, you'll have to go ahead and change that in there. So let's get this back to a size we can look at. So we're still not done yet. So if you try to just click the moose guy or the elk guy and the outside borders and you think, oh, those are all red, I'm just going to send that off to the cutter. Nope. See, you still got that red line in there. It's not going to work, or yellow line. So what we want to do is we're going to come in and we want to change all these to a wireframe traffic black. So here you can see it's, let me bring these a little closer. So we want to come in here and we want to change these to traffic black wireframe. Okay. Same thing with the inside. We're going to go traffic black wireframe. Okay. And same thing with the outside there. We're going to go wireframe. So everything's back now. And if you were to click these two borders in this guy and group them together and send them off, there you have your borders with the elk. Everything's okay. The outside diameter is 36 by 36. And you've got your inside borders. But I don't always trust those because we made them from such a big size. So what I do sometimes is I can, oops, let me bring that back. Control Z to bring it back. So I'm going to ungroup all that. And it will probably cut, but since it was such a small item and we brought it bigger, it's probably not going to work out as well. So what I like to do in this case is I like to go ahead and make all my own borders again. In order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to put some reference lines here. And so I'm going to group all this together one more time. Okay, so I'm going to hit this line, hit this, and see how it snapped it to this blue line? Okay, so do the same thing down here. I'm going to hit this line. See how it put the little white box there? Hold down on your shift key. And then I'm going to do the bottom control here. So now it's lined up perfectly on that. So that way I know my moose or my elk is right in the same spot he should be. So I'm going to hit this again. I'm going to ungroup all these. And I'm going to delete all this. Okay. Now my moose, my elk, I don't know, I keep calling him a moose. He looks big. It's right there. So what I want to do is I want to make all those new borders again. So here's my shape tool. And we're just going to drag this out. And this guy is going to be 36 by 36. It's rounded, so you have all the different choices. So I'm going to take rounded, and it's a 2.25. Okay, so now that's exactly where it should be. And make sure you always come back to the tool, otherwise you'll make another border there. We'll just get rid of that. So now what I want to do is I want to, that's my outside blank. That's going to be my yellow blank, the 36 by 36. See the size here? So now what I want to do is come up to my effects, and I'm going to outline that. And I'm going to come inline. The thickness of my border is going to be 0.875, and the offset is going to be 0.625, which I've already have in there. And I just want one border around it. You can see where it's going to be. And when I got that all set up, I'm going to do traffic black, and we're going to do the wireframe. And you just make sure you hit this apply button. Okay, so there's the apply button. Okay, so now there's my moose, my elk. I don't know why I keep calling him a moose. All ready to go. I'm going to click the elk. You got that one right. Hold down on my shift key. Click the border. Well, as you can see, the border needs to be separated now, because if I send that off to the cutter, that red line is going to be sent too. So click on that outside border. Right click and see where it says separate outline. Separate the outline. Okay. So now we just have the inside border, this border. Group them together. Then go ahead and save that. Save that file wherever you want before you send it off to your cutter. I'm going to save him, which I'll probably never use this guy because we don't have any elk where I live. So he was the W11-20. So let's go in the W11 series. So let's just save him as a W11-20 elk. And that's a 36 by 36 inch. Okay, so now he's saved forevermore. You have him. You don't have to go through all this trouble again. So now what you can do, go ahead and hit the elk and the borders if you don't already have them grouped together with your group and ungroup tool here. And now you send it off to the cutter. And now you just put in your cut lines wherever you need cut lines or whatever. So, miscellaneous. And then, set your size of your media that you're cutting. And there you go. So that's a workaround for if you don't have a sign catalog and you're relying on those PDF files that you can find. Now, there's other resources to find some of those, and I'll put some links down below to show you where some I use. I can go to sometimes my California MUTCD sign specs does have some. Let's pull up some regulation ones. And speed limit. Okay, that you can probably still use as a PDF, but some of these you can just make on your own as long as you have the specs. If you have just text and numerals in there, you don't need to go through all that trouble. You can make your own. So they do have quite a few in here, and unfortunately here in California where I live, we've got MUTCD of our own, and it's quite something. So there's a resource there in California on the Caltrans, and they're pretty much the same standard as you have throughout the United States. That I have some other references that I'll just put links down below. But there's a workaround for using Flexi when you don't have a sign catalog. You're just going to have to go out and find some good PDFs and import them over. But then once you go through all that work, you have them. And, I strongly advise you to save them so you don't have to go through this trouble. Because every time you have to make one of those signs, it's a pain. And this way. But like I said, with my other way of the catalog, I showed you on the last video, and I don't know if my FWH catalog has one. Let's take a look and see if it did have that elk crossing, which was a W11-20. Yeah, I don't see it in here. So if I needed to make that elk, I would have had to, myself, since it's not in my sign library, I'd have to go back and do it that way. I can't say every sign that I have is in that catalog. As you can see, the W11-20 is not in here. And I don't know why it should have been. It's a federal highway program that we have, but it's an older program, and some of those could have been added later. I know this program we acquired this program many years before we even started with Flexi. So anyways, little tip on how to navigate through Flexi. Like I said, I'm probably going to start another series pretty soon that shows how to, do a lot of the Flexi from like a beginning standpoint. But like I said, I'm not an expert on Flexi by all means, but I do get around fairly well. And it's just a lot of trial and error and research, looking it up and everything. So anyways, just if you don't have a sign, remain calm, and you know who you can turn to. If you ever are in trouble, always turn to the sign man. As always, thanks for watching.